This is a video of an unidentified flying object recorded above an American military base. This information was officially disclosed by the US Congress. And you still think UFOs are about conspiracy theories and speculation? I'll tell you about the most undeniable evidence that we are not alone in the universe. From testimonies of former military personnel to statements from presidents. And at the end, there will be the wildest case when a UFO was observed over an entire football stadium. The game was even officially interrupted. And I'll start with a video published by NASA showing an unidentified object in the form of an elongated line flying in space. It was spotted during the spacewalk of two astronauts to conduct repairs on the ISS. ISS surveillance cameras captured this object, while hovered behind one of the astronauts for several seconds. Immediately after the video was published, there were numerous speculations about the origin of this object. Some believed it could be a spacecraft from Earth or a glare in the optics. Interestingly, NASA independently released this video, acknowledging the presence of the object in the recording. However, the agency refrained from comments and explanations regarding the origin of this unidentified object. So why publish it then? Look at that suspicious glare or speck that got into our camera. There's no doubt that this was indeed a UFO. But that's not all. On orbit around Earth, the ISS managed to take a relatively clear picture of an unidentified object. In this frame, you can see layers of clouds and the contours of Earth's oceans, with a spherical shape apparent below the object. Despite some blurring, the object looks like it's made of stone or metal. Interestingly, this object is moving at speeds of tens of thousands of kilometers per hour. This is too fast for it to be identified in more detail, yet too fast to capture multiple high-quality photographs. One might question whether it's a meteorite, but meteorites rarely have such perfectly spherical shapes. This strange object with several protrusions resembles more a rock, yet at the same time gives the impression of an artificial sphere, which might suggest its extraterrestrial origin. But alongside photographs or videos, there are also ancient artifacts that clearly indicate encounters with UFOs thousands of years ago. According to some conspiracy theories, aliens may have been involved in the construction of famous architectural structures such as Stonehenge and the Egyptian pyramids. For example, on the Marquesas Islands in the Pacific Ocean, ancient reliefs depicting beings very similar to humanoids have been discovered. They have humanoid bodies and reptilian heads with huge eyes and low-set mouths. How can this be explained? We know almost nothing about the people who created these architectural works, and they have long disappeared from the face of the earth. Even modern inhabitants of these places cannot provide us with information about their ancestors. Archaeologists estimate that these statues could be older than 150,000 years, but despite all the mystery, they tend to interpret them as images of priests wearing ritual masks. Also of interest are archaeological finds in South America, where small golden figurines have been found, resembling scaled-down models of airplanes and spacecraft. Some of them are remarkably similar to the Russian spaceplane Buran and the American shuttle Columbia. The detail of the wings and tail sections of these figurines is astonishing. Why their creators chose such a form remains a mystery. And in Europe, in the territory of Serbia, a statuette with a humanoid figure was found, which had 4 eyes, or as some researchers suggest, could represent a spacesuit helmet. Not convincing? What about meteorites with remnants of organic tissues? In 2011, NASA scientist Richard Hoover sparked significant interest in the scientific community by claiming to have discovered fossils of extraterrestrial organisms inside meteorites that had reached the Earth's surface. Astrobiologist Richard Hoover emphasized that laboratory analysis of these meteorites did not find evidence indicating that the fossils belonged to organisms native to Earth. These meteorites are considered among the oldest in the solar system. And according to Hoover, the absence of nitrogen in the samples suggests that they are remnants of extraterrestrial life form that may have developed on the parent bodies of the meteorites when there was liquid water present. This information leads to the speculation that extraterrestrial organisms could have existed long before the meteorites entered Earth's atmosphere. However, it's worth noting that these claims have sparked debates in the scientific community, and none of such findings have been unequivocally confirmed as evidence of extraterrestrial life. Nevertheless, research and exploration of extraterrestrial life continue. with an increasing number of countries openly discussing it at the governmental level. David Fravor, former head of the Department of Defense's Unidentified Aerial Phenomena Task Force, stated during a congressional hearing that he had information about a long-term program collecting data on unexplained anomalies, but he was denied access to this program. Fravor claims that the US government has been collecting debris and investigating alien spacecraft for many years. He also alleges that individuals reporting UFOs have been persecuted and some have been harmed. Fravor also expressed concerns for his own life. White House spokesperson John Kirby noted that the US president takes information about UFOs seriously and emphasized the importance of research in this area. The US administration is making efforts to study and catalog data on unexplained anomalies. Indeed, in 2022, several videos were shown during congressional hearings depicting strange unidentified objects. The most popular video was from a reconnaissance drone that managed to capture the moment a strange object flew over a US military base. The government openly stated that we do not know what it was and how to explain these shots. It feels like we are being prepared for something, considering that for centuries authorities denied the existence of the UFO problem, let alone aliens, and now it's openly discussed at congressional hearings. Take for example the legendary Battle of Los Angeles. On the night of February 24th to 25th, 1942, an incident occurred that caused panic around the world. It all started with the sudden activation of air raid sirens in Los Angeles. The population was ordered to turn off all lights, and thousands of air defense guards took their positions. At 3:16 a.m., the 37th Coastal Artillery Brigade began firing using 50 caliber machine guns and 12.8-pound anti-aircraft shells shooting at airborne targets. In the end, more than 1,400 shells were fired, and the artillery fire continued sporadically until 4:14 a.m. The all-clear signal was only given at 7:21 a.m., and the order to turn off the lights was cancelled. As a result of the incident, several buildings and cars were damaged by shell fragments, and 5 civilians died from indirect effects of the anti-aircraft fire. 3 of them died in car accidents that occurred in the chaos following the alarm, and 2 died from heart attacks caused by stress. Who were they so desperately fighting against? Initially, it was assumed that the attack was carried out by Japanese forces, but soon, Secretary of the Navy Frank Knox declared at a press conference that the incident was a false alarm. Some ufologists speculate that the possible target could have been a spacecraft of extraterrestrial origin. In 1983, the US Air Force Office of History attributed this incident to a case of nerves among the military, suggesting that a weather balloon exploded in the air, causing the whole city to be put on edge. It sounds very strange, considering there were radars and some equipment for observation. And how can you shoot all night at something that isn't there? The case is very mysterious, especially in light of the acknowledgement of UFO issues. When discussing photographs of aliens, many expect to see something like this, but in reality, our extraterrestrial friends turn out to be less tangible for the camera lens. Nevertheless, humanity does not give up, and it has managed to make several very interesting findings, and even present them to the whole world. Because not only America has embarked on the path of openly studying UFOs, journalist and ufologist Jaime Maussan presented to the Congress of Mexico mummies, which according to him may indicate the existence of extraterrestrial life form. Maussan claimed that radiocarbon analysis of mummies found in Peruvian mines near the cities of Palpa and Nazca showed that they are about 1,000 years old. He also claimed that molecular analysis indicates their extraterrestrial origin. Describing these creatures, Maussan spoke of them as having non-human nature, having 3 fingers, elongated heads, and a length of about 5 feet 6 inches. He also claimed that eggs with embryos and implants with cadmium and osmium were found inside the mummies. However, I want to note that this claim has raised serious doubts and criticism in the scientific community. Despite Maussan's statements, most scientists and experts believe that such findings require further in-depth research and reliable scientific data before conclusions can be drawn about the origin and nature of these mummies. On December 9th, 1965, a mysterious accident involving a presumed alien spacecraft occurred. A glowing flying sphere was spotted by residents of several states in the USA and Canada, and its trajectory ended with a crash near the town of Kecksburg, USA. Local residents quickly arrived at the crash site and discovered something on the ground that they called a golden acorn. the size of a truck. Unfortunately, people did not have time to thoroughly examine the alien craft, as military trucks arrived at the scene, loaded the object, and took it away in an unknown direction. This incident became the subject of dispute between ufologists and skeptics, doubting whether it was a genuine alien spacecraft or a downed Soviet satellite. The military persistently denies the fact of removing the golden acre. It is worth noting that after the appearance of a color photograph of this event, numerous other visual evidence of UFO flights emerged. These craft typically appear as double convex disks or symmetrically flying lights in the night sky. However, skeptics point out the possibility of photo manipulation and visual evidence forgery, especially with the advancement of digital photography. Interestingly, even famous personalities are not immune to encounters with alien objects. For example, John Lennon, the legendary musician, recounted his encounter with a UFO. In 1973, he was standing on the balcony of his apartment in New York City when a strange flying craft flew near his home in the sky. Interestingly, many other city residents also noticed this object on the same day. This incident inspired Lennon to create the song "Nobody Told Me," which was released in 1984. Kirsan Alymzhinov, former president of Kalmykia, recounted his encounter with aliens and even claimed to have been taken aboard a UFO. According to him, this incident occurred in 1997. Alymzhinov claimed that while in his room, he heard a telepathic command to go to the balcony, which he obeyed. After that, he found himself aboard an alien spacecraft, where he was greeted by aliens wearing yellow suits. He did not provide many details about this encounter initially and remained silent about it, fearing it could damage his public image. However, in 2010, he shared this experience in an interview with Vladimir Posner. Interestingly, after this encounter, Alymzhinov expressed the opinion that humanity is not yet ready for contact with extraterrestrial intelligence and should not strive for such encounters. This incident sparked a lot of interest and discussions in the field of ufology and UFO research. Another fact supporting the existence of aliens is the strange skulls found worldwide. One researcher, Brian Foster, in 2016 discovered the remains of a head in a cave in Peru, the size of which was only 5 inches. But its elongated occipital part and flat face convinced some that these could be the remains of an alien. However, scientists offer an alternative explanation for such findings. They claim that these could be the remains of children with congenital anomalies or representatives of cultures that practice skull elongation techniques. In some cultures, tight head bindings are applied to children at birth, which reshape the skull as they grow. This custom is preserved in some areas, such as among the Moro-Mangbetu tribes in Africa. Despite controversies and disagreements, American scientists conducted DNA research on the discovered skull and stated that it has nothing to do with earthly beings. Moreover, the vast geography of these strange skulls dispersal, as some were even found in Antarctica. And finally, I'd like to tell you about an extraordinary case where a crowd of several thousand people simultaneously became witnesses to a UFO. On October 27, 1954, in Florence, one of the most amazing incidents in the history of soccer occurred. At the time, during a friendly match between the local team Fiorentina and the neighboring team Pistoiese, at the communal stadium, now called Artemio Franchi, about 10,000 spectators had gathered. During the second half of the match, many spectators, as well as players on the field, noticed something strange in the sky. They saw a slowly moving object described as egg-shaped and having a silvery glow. This incident stunned all the witnesses, and the entire stadium fell silent. Even the players on the field stopped, and the ball stopped moving. All eyes were turned to the sky, and no one could understand what was happening. This incident was so shocking that even the match referee decided to suspend the game because he himself saw the strange object in the sky. The match report even noted that the meeting was suspended because the spectators saw something in the sky. Then, after some time, the strange object suddenly disappeared, and at that moment, an unprecedented snowfall began. Sticky and filamentous snow, resembling cobweb rain, fell on the stadium field and even in other parts of the city, such as the Cathedral of Santa Maria del Fiore and Piazza Santa Croce. This unusual incident remains one of the most detailed and documented cases of UFO observation at public events and continues to be of interest to researchers even now. As you can see, discussions about aliens have now started to emerge at the governmental level. Why? I think we'll find out soon. Thanks for watching.